Alright guys, today is your interactive notebook day. You're going to need your glue, your pencil, your scissors, your interactive notebook page, and your interactive notebooks. So what you're going to do first is you're going to open to the first clean sheet in your interactive notebook. Make sure it's ready to rock and roll. Then we're going to grab our interactive notebook sheet and we're going to cut out all of the pieces, cutting on the dark edge perimeter. So we're going to go ahead and start. Remember, dark edge perimeter, we're not cutting into the actual interactive pieces yet. When you get down to the arrow and this little rectangle down here, these will be separate pieces. So this little rectangle is going to be a separate piece from the arrow. Alright, so when you're done cutting, just place the material, your trash off to the side. So you should have, when you're done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces that are going to go into your interactive notebook. The first piece that we're going to glue in, we're going to put the others off to the side. The first piece we're going to glue in is your heading piece. So you're going to take your heading piece, put your glue up at the top, or put your glue on the back. You're going to take this top piece and you're going to glue it to the very top of your interactive notebook page. We're going to fill in the blanks in your definition spots. The first blank, when dividing fractions, you are finding out how many of one fraction are equal to another fraction. This is when we talked about when we were dividing a fraction by a fraction, we were trying to find out how many of one fraction is in another fraction. All right, taking your pencil, you're going to draw 2 vertical lines, one on each side of your page like this. Now, you're going to grab your rectangular sheet or your square sheet that has all the different size squares and rectangles in it. What you're going to do is for every 2 rows, you're going to cut on that solid black line. So I'm going to cut straight down the middle for this piece. So now I have my 2 halves with my 4 fourths. Now I'm going to cut the fifths and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, tenths. Cut that on the black line. So that way I have 3 separate large pieces. And each of these are going to be glued in separately, just like this. So you have your halves and your fourths at the top. You have your fifths and your tenths second. And then you have your 15ths and your fifths last. All right. Now you're going to locate your tiniest piece that has the 3 different equations on it. You're going to cut on the dark bold line to separate each of those pieces. And now we're going to match the equations to the models. So this first model has the first part split into halves, the second section split into fourths. So I'm looking for the equation that has a half being split into fourths. So I'm going to take 1/2 divided by 1/4, and I'm going to glue that next to its model off on the left-hand side of the page. Then I'm going to look for fifths being divided into tenths. I'm going to take fifths being divided into tenths. Well, you have the 2/5 being divided by 1/10. That's going to be your match. Place that also next to the model off on the left-hand side. All right, now I'm looking for the 15ths being divided into fifths. The last one that you have is the 1/5 being divided by 3/5. So I'm going to glue that one in next. All right. Now, once we've done this, we're going to fill in our model. So what this division problem is saying, and we're going to write it right underneath, is how many 1/4 are in 1/2. So in my division problem, I'm starting with a half. So I'm going to go on my model and I'm going to shade in how much I have. I have 1/2 because that's what I started with. I started with a half. Now, I need to find out how many 1/4 are in 1/2. So I'm going to look at the bottom section and I'm going to count my fourths until it matches my half piece. So that's 1/4, 2/4. It takes 2 of my fourths to equal a half. So that means 1/2 divided by 1/4 equals, and we're going to write your answer off to the side, 2. 1/2 divided by 1/4 is 2. There are 2 1/4 in 1/2. Now, let's do the next one. I need to figure out how many 1/10 are in 2/5. So I need to model what I'm starting with. I'm starting with 2/5. So I need to shade in 2/5. Now, to find out how many 1/10 are in 2/5, I just need to count how many tenths there are until it equals the same amount as 2/5. So I'm going to count 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10. So to answer that question, how many 1/10 are in 2/5? I was able to take out 4/10 from 2/5. All right, last one. We need to find out how many 3/5 are in 1/15. Now, this is going to be a little strange, so let's kind of walk through it. We know we started with 1/15, so let's model that 1/15. I need to find out how many 3/5 fall within that 1/15 area. So I need to count out my 3/5. So that's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. So what I'm looking for is how many of these 1/15 pieces are equal to that 3/5 piece. So let's count how many pieces there are. I had to use a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces to get to 3/5. So I know I had to have 9 pieces, and I only have 1 of those 9 pieces. So that means 15 divided by 3/5 is 1 out of 9. All right. Now, grab your arrow piece, starting with the arrow part first. We are going to accordion fold on the dotted lines. So we're going to pinch and fold on the dotted lines. Then I'm going to bend it over on the other dotted line and fold. I'm going to keep going until all of the dotted lines are folded. So when you have it, you show something that looks like this, and when you open it, all of your directions come out. You are going to, if you have your piece like this, you're going to flip it over to the blank side. You are going to put glue on the blank side, and you are going to place it in the bottom left corner of your interactive notebook. So that way, all you have to do is pull it out to see your instructions. All right. Last but not least, we're going to do your little rectangular piece. You're going to cut on the dark, bold lines. Until you have 3 little flaps. Underneath the title part where it says divide, you are going to put a small thin strip of glue like this. And you are going to lay it in the last bit of area you have in your interactive notebook piece. So that way you now have little doors that you can open. Underneath each of these doors, we are going to write the multiplication sentence that matches the division problem. Y'all remember the strategy? That is keep, change, flip. If you're not sure of the steps, pull your tab open and it gives you the steps step by step. So remember, in keep, change, flip, we keep the first fraction, our dividend, the same. We change division to multiplication, and we write the reciprocal or the flipped version of 3/5. So that would be 5/3. When you multiply your fractions, we multiply straight across. So I'm going to do 1 times 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 15 times 3. 15 times 3 is 45. I can simplify 5 and 45 because 5 and 45 can both be divided by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 45 divided by 5 is 9. It matches what we got in our model at the top. So that's how I know that this is correct. All right. I want you to take the opportunity to pause the video, and I want you to try these 2 equations on your own. All right. Let's see how you did. Remember, in keep, change, flip, we keep our dividend, change the division to multiplication, and we write the reciprocal of our divisor, which in this case, it will be 10/1. I'm going to multiply straight across. 2 times 10 equals 20. 5 times 1 equals 5. I can divide 20 and 5. and this will get me 4. Again, it matches my model up at the top. Last one, I keep my dividend, which is 1/2, change division to multiplication, and I make the reciprocal of 1/4. That is 4/1. You multiply fractions straight across. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. I can divide 4 divided by 2. That gets me 2. And again, I know this is correct because this matches my answer I got in my model. All right, after all of that, your interactive notebook page should look like this, and you are ready to go.